92 Rock, Mason here, along with Phil X of Phil X and the Drills. How you doing, man?
Dude, I'm doing so good. I sound high, but I'm not.
I'd say it looks like you're in the studio. I think that would probably be a pretty common place we can find you.
Yeah, man, especially, it's funny because we have a couple of drill shows coming up this weekend, and I really got to get my hands into shape. So I come in here and crank the guitar, get my fingers going. The screaming part, because it's very vocally demanding. I have to scream in the car for 3 weeks before a drill show.
Well, dude, I believe it. I believe it. This new tune, "Take the Day Away," been rocking that and looking forward to a full length album coming out at the end of the month.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm super excited.
I love the title of it. Pow, right in the kisser.
I love how you say it.
How'd you come up with that? An old honeymooners reference there?
Something like that, man. Old black and white television sitcom stuff where the husband's like, one of these days. And then for me, it's just a metaphor for like when we play music, man, we just want to punch you in the face with it. It should be an intensity, you know. And that's what I get from it. When it's like when go see a band, I want to get punched in the face. I don't want someone to hand me flowers and go, "Here you go, have fun." No, I don't want that. I want, throw things at me. I want the music to really make an impact. And I think we did that with this record. There's a lot of vibes. There's 11 drummers, each with their own personality. And every song went to each drummer with the thought of that drummer. And so I'm so happy with how it turned out.
Yeah, "Take the Day Away." That's Tommy Lee drumming on that, isn't
Yeah.
it?
And I hate to correct you, but it's Fake the Day Away.
Oh, "Fake the Day." My bad.
Yeah,
My
no
bad. Yeah.
problem. But yeah, it's Tommy, and Tommy the same thing. Like people are like, "How'd you make that happen?" And we have a history. I played on all his solo records since Methods of Mayhem in '99. So we had already spent a bunch of hours in the studio. And then when I was like, "Hey man, will you play on a tune?" He was like, "Yeah, of course." And I sent him Fake the Day Away, and I wrote Fake the Day Away to this groove he was playing in a drum solo that I saw for a Motley Crue concert on YouTube. And he was just playing this groove, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna write a song to this groove, and I'm gonna send it to Tommy so he doesn't go, "I don't like the groove." I go, "Well, it's your groove." But the funny thing is that he slowed it down. I sent him my vocal and my guitar of the idea, and he sampled it and slowed it down like by 10 beats per minute. And he sent it to me and he said, "I love it, but this is the tempo." And when we went in the studio with Daniel Spree, our bass player, and so it was the three of us just jamming it on the floor, and we even slowed it down a couple more times uh, to Tommy's request. And I'm like, he's the boss. Whatever he wants to do, bring that back 2 beats per minute. So, and then that's the tempo that you're hearing of that song. So, and there's a really cool story of every drummer situation. The history I have with Tico Torres when I asked him to play drums on the record on a day off on a tour with Bon Jovi. He had, "Yeah, of course, I'll be there tomorrow." And then I met Liberty DeVito when we were shooting live footage for a Hired Gun documentary, and I was just blown away by his energy. And when we were in New York again in 2018, playing 2 sold out nights at Madison Square Garden, I asked Liberty if he'd come to the studio the next day and record at Power Station. So he recorded Broken Arrow. I mean, every song, every relationship is a relationship. Like all these drummers on this record I've played with on other artists' records. So and you become pals, man, because you're in there making music, and there's chemistry, and there's gelling, and what do you want to have for lunch? And before you know it, it's like, "Hey, will you play on my record?" And they're like, "Yeah, of course." So it's an amazing. I feel blessed having all these drummers on this record. It's exciting.
Yeah, I mean, working with a bunch of different musicians, definitely something you've been used to.
Yeah.
I was reading a bit of the extent of your session work, and holy cow! I mean, you have worked with, I mean, all kinds of different musicians.
Well, that also created my my chameleon vibe. Because obviously, if you're playing with recording with Avril Lavigne on Tuesday and then with Alice Cooper on Thursday, you're a different guy, right? It's
I
a
could
different
see it. Yeah.
color, a different approach, a different set of guitars. It's different. So I mean, that's when I became that that guy, and I think it really helped me in as a writer too, because I've always been a writer, but I always approach a session as a writer, even though I didn't write the song. I want the verse to say something and the pre-chorus to say something else, and then the chorus to be explosive. So that's where all these guitar colors come in. So working on my own stuff, it's always been um, it's always been that kind of vibe. But at the same time, you know, our first single, "Don't Wake Up Dead," is a premier example of what the drills is. It's like three guys rocking out on the floor, and that one was Ray Luzier. And it's three guys rocking out on the floor. And then when I got home, I want a stereo image, so I do a second guitar, doubling what I did in the studio. So it's hard left and hard right. But instead of doing a rhythm under the lead guitar, I just doubled the solo. And it took a minute too, because again, you know, when you play from the heart, you're like a different player every day. So I was feeling things different, and I had to just, oh man, and I wanted to be one take. I don't want it to be, you know,
Yeah.
chopped together. So, but that song speaks to me as this is the drill's aggressive nature, and just three instruments and screaming.
So, I mean, like like personal music. Then are you a hard rock guy? I mean, doing all this different stuff and not, you know, I mean, you know, playing with Bon Jovi. I mean, definite rock, but you've got a real crunch to this vibe, man.
I really do. Thanks, man. I am a hard rock guy at heart. Some of the first concerts I saw when I was a kid were early, like Van Halen in 1980, and Cheap Trick, and Black Sabbath, and AC/DC. Like that. Those are the bands that I grew up on when I saw them at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto, Canada, as a kid. So all that left an impact on me. And the chameleon thing came in handy with Bon Jovi, because they're like, hey, I don't know if you know this, but we have a country record and we play 3 songs from it live. So you got to learn those too. And I was like, oh, okay. I better bring my telly.
I'd say, yeah, you know your guitars. You got quite the presence on YouTube. Uh,
Yeah, that's a good one, because it's that was a period, I think, I don't know, 2006 maybe, and then to 2012 or 13. So it was a good almost 10 years that you know, I did over 500 demos for Fretted Americana, and I really got to learn about guitars, and what I really liked about guitars and what I really didn't like about guitars. And then, you know, when people are like, hey, why'd you stop doing that? I was like, because, you know, I it was fun, and then it wasn't. You
sure,
know?
yeah.
So I didn't want to be fake, and so once it stopped being fun, that's when I had to stop. But the cool thing about it is that looking back at some of those videos, you know, when I meet people, it could be any airport in the world, and a guy will come up to me and go, man, every time I'm in a rut, I watch your Fretted Americana videos. What do you do? I go, actually the same thing. Because you know, you're always going through different stages of playing. So if I go to a video that I did for them in 2008, I was doing different licks, and I go, oh, what was that I did?
So yeah, it's like a scrapbook almost. Yeah,
It
go
really
back.
is. It's a scrapbook. That's a perfect example.
It,
That's a good analogy. I like it.
it seems like you got in on the good days of it too, like early on in YouTube before everybody was doing YouTube. You know, 2006, it was still fresh.
Yeah. Well, we didn't know what we were doing. It becoming it becoming what it became was an accident and a shock. You know, that we were doing all these videos, and it started really simple. Like, here's the treble pickup, here's the neck pickup, see you next week. To me, screaming AC/DC and Zeppelin and Humble Pie, and playing all these guitars. And then Dustin Jack, the co-creator, called me and said, hey man, do you know we have like 50 million collective views? And I'm like, what does that mean? What? I had no idea what was going on. And when I meet a lot of influencers now, they're like, hey man, thanks for starting the whole thing. I was like, well, you know, maybe I did, but people have taken it so much farther. So it's a growth thing for sure. But it's kind of cool to be there in the beginning.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. And I will say about this new album you got coming out, I think it's awesome. All the work that you did as a session musician, and now taking it on yourself with the writing and singing along. I mean, like do you sing backup and stuff when you play with like Bon Jovi?
Yeah, it's I get that asked a lot too. I do a lot of background vocals, and actually do the answer, the wanted, in Wanted Dead or Alive. So that's kind of a cool moment. And the other thing is too is like Living on a Prayer. Like that was the song of my youth, and then I still get every time I start on the talk box. Take it that down. What? I get chills every night. It's pretty amazing.
I'll bet, man. Yeah, Bon Jovi, one of those I love growing up, and Motley Crue, of course, another iconic band that you opened up for last summer. How was that show?
Man, that was amazing. And it was funny because I know if people are at a fair and they're there to see Motley Crue, and you got 10,000 people in there waiting for Motley Crue and probably not even knowing who we are, it's about just walking on stage and owning it, man. It's like, okay, you're a rock star. You've been playing guitar and singing your entire life. So if there's a guitar in my hands and a mic in my face, I know my job. So and then we got some really cool songs and song titles and stuff. I was looking over and I saw Tommy Lee and John Five side stage going, "Woo, you're killing it!" And it's like, wow, great cheerleading, guys. Thanks, man. But then when you get 10,000 people singing, "I wish my beer was as cold as your heart," I think you're doing pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. No, I mean, from what I've heard from Phil X and the Drills, it definitely matches up with Motley Crue's vibe.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah, nice and heavy. Say when you were working with Tommy on like Methods of Mayhem, how crazy did those sessions get?
Dude, it was really nuts on the original one in '99. That's when we just met. And I was in a band, and I was kind of like not paying the rent with the band, so I was doing like odd jobs like painting and stuff. So I was actually painting the producer's garage. So in '99 it was Scott Humphrey. I was painting his garage. They're working on Methods of Mayhem, who and actually Tommy wrote a lot of those lyrics when he was in jail. So when he came out and got to make music, he felt like you could feel the intensity in what he was saying and stuff. And then and when he said, "Yes, Scott," I go, "Hey, we need a guitar player on this record." And Scott was like, "Let's get Phil." And Tommy, even then, he was like, "The dude painting the garage?" And I was like, he's like, "Yeah." So I came in as soon as I traded the paintbrush for a Les Paul. I started playing guitar, and Tommy's like, "Dude, you got to play on the whole record." And Scott's like, "And you got to finish painting the garage."
Hey, at least you get paid twice, right?
Yeah, right. I'll send 2 invoices. I'm not afraid.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Yeah, no, like I said, Fake the Day Away, just a really rocking tune. And March 28th, we're like less than 3 weeks away from that coming out.
I'm excited, man. There's a lot of vibes on the record. I'm really proud of. There's a song that Broken Arrow that Liberty DeVito is on. I wrote that after I heard that Chris Cornell had passed. And I had recorded a song with Chris Cornell. We did a rock version of Long Gone. And so I was in the studio with him for a few hours. And it was really meaningful. Like just to even picture playing guitar and hearing that voice come out of the speakers while the dude is sitting on the couch. You're like, it was very surreal for me because he's one of my favorite singers. And then when I heard he passed, I was like, I wrote this song about, just questions. It's basically questions about, what, you never know what's in somebody's head, no matter how much success they have. They could be on tour, which he was. You hit a low point and you're kind of like what the lyric in the song says, shutting the voice of reason down. And then somebody finds you. It's like, I would have never, ever approached the topic like that years ago in the Trills. It was always like party and funny ex-girlfriend songs. But hitting such an intense subject for me was pretty deep, you know. But it actually also showed a multi-dimensional side of my writing and my approach. So I was really happy that I got to do that.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, dude. I look forward to hearing the whole thing, for
Me too,
sure.
man.
What's that?
Me too, for you.
I'd say, yeah, you played it, man. I'm sure you heard it, didn't you?
Yeah.
At least your parts, yeah.
Yeah.
No, dude, but yeah, can't wait for that to come out. So you got a few shows coming up. Are you planning like a big tour or anything to support it?
Not a big tour yet, but we're working on. I'm waiting to get my schedule from the day job, the other band, and then I can fill the holes. I can fill the gaps with drills. I got to stop with that pun. But this weekend we're doing 3 shows in Texas, in Lubbock on the 13th, Fort Worth on the 14th. So Lubbock 13, Texas, Dallas 14, and Houston 15, and then we'll see down the road, man. We'll be doing some more stuff. I love getting out there and playing. It's like it's just you know, I get when you're. I love having 2 canvases. You know, the one being Bon Jovi, where it's a supportive role, and John is driving that vehicle, and you're just backing him up. And then when I get on stage with the drills, it's way less people, and in a van instead of a jet. But I get to deliver my message. I get to be 100% Phil X. I get to play the way I like to play and sing the way I like to sing and just deliver my message. And that's, again, an incredible canvas to be able to paint on as well. So, but man, thanks for your time, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, dude. Thank you, Phil X. We'll make sure we check out that new album. Pow! Right in the kisser.
I love the way you say it.
All right. Take care, brother.
You too, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.